Can BYU actually blow out Stanford? And can Iowa State shock Iowa? The right word here is shock due to some numbers that I'll give you. Also, Arizona State on the road against the SEC. Here are your best bets to win some money at FanDuel this week. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day, live from the studio where college football kickoff debuts today. Every Thursday, it will premiere on Fire TV, and then again on Fridays on Locked On Big 12 with myself, Gary Patterson, and Jesse Holley, the former Dallas Cowboy. If you hit subscribe, I get to keep my job. Without further ado, let's win you some money. My first lock of the week in the Big 12. It is a stunning one. Give me Iowa State getting the win against Iowa and covering 3. I'm going to buy a hook. It's 3.5 right now. If you were to ask ESPN or FanDuel or any of those, FanDuel has it at 3.5. The over-under at 41.5 is not surprising. This should be a low-scoring game, but it also has the opportunity to be like a 17-6 contest. It has the real shot for Iowa State to shut down, again, like 65% chance of victory per ESPN. Iowa State to shut down the Hawkeyes because of the inability to throw the football for Kirk Ferentz' team. 44 passing yards last week for their quarterback. 44. Rocco Beck has sneakily been one of the best QBs in college football over the course of the last 20 or so games, and he's a guy that I'm going to hang my hat on here. Iowa State is #1 in my power rankings for this week because they've looked so good against the best Power 4 opponent the Big 12 has played. I think Kansas State, who they beat, is better than UCLA, is better than North Carolina. And honestly, part of this is Iowa being so bad. Iowa's offense, once again, being so bad. And the Cyclones have won 0 games of the last 6 at home against the Hawkeyes. So that's where this is a shocking win for Iowa State. They've been waiting over a decade to do this, but they finally get it done once again at Jack Trice Stadium. Albany was Iowa's opponent last week. They were historically bad despite winning 34-7. That's a bad FCS team. Iowa State beat a very good FCS team, South Dakota, 55-7. The nod goes to Iowa State here, and it goes by 3 or more. Certainly, this is a 17-6. This is a 20-11. This is a 24-13. If things go higher scoring, Iowa State claims the victory. They're my first lock of the week in the best bets. Now we move to Kansas, going on the road against an SEC opponent. While you may play the money line, and I'm going to sprinkle some on the Kansas money line, that is plus 200 right now. What I will tell you should hit is Kansas plus 7. Again, we're going to buy the hook, a 0.5 point here. Kansas goes 6.5 point favorite. I'm going to take them up to 7. The over-under at 51.5. If you're going to play it, I'm going to play the over. ESPN gives Kansas just a 36% chance of victory, but I don't trust Bo Prabula, the quarterback from Missouri, throwing the football. They played nobody state last week. The Tigers did, and Jalen Daniels has actually looked really good. Dylan Highshaw has looked really good. If you can stop Prabula from running, I don't see Hardy being a massive threat to you. It's a Missouri team that's piecing together a bunch of transfers. Prabula is coming over from Penn State, Hardy from ULM. The continuity of Kansas is going to make them so deadly this season of the Big 12. I think they're going to be a solid team. They beat Fresno State 31-7. Fresno State has proven itself after beating Georgia Southern last weekend by double digits. That was what gives me a lot of confidence. That's what gives me a lot of confidence in what Kansas can do against Mizzou. They will cover at least 7 in this game, possibly win it outright, sprinkle a bit on the money line. I've told you Houston, maybe my dark horse to win the Big 12, to threaten the Big 12, to do something in the Big 12 and make some noise. I'm taking Houston minus 13.5. Don't buy a hook here. They'll win it by 14. This is a 20-3 style game, a 24-6 style game that they will play on the road against Rice. I don't care if they're on the road. One of the worst places to play in college football would be Rice. They had just 45 passing yards last week. Connor Wegman was at least serviceable, 3 passing touchdowns in his 15 completions. They're going to try to run the ball. Rice is going to try to run the ball. Houston's defense will be able to stop it. Maybe one of the best defenses in the Big 12. I think it is one of the best defenses of the Big 12. 27-0. They beat Stephen F. Austin. Rice beat Louisiana Lafayette 14-12. Low-scoring game is ahead for us. But I think Houston is so much more dominant than we really understand. Look at their scores last season. BYU on the road, 30-18. Baylor, 20-10. They were close in their losses. They beat Kansas State. They beat TCU. The Arizona loss is a bit of an outlier here. Houston is much improved this season from a year ago where they weren't that terrible. Again, beat TCU and Kansas State under Willie Fritz. I'm going to go Houston minus 13.5 as my third lock of the week. Now, BYU, this is the play. This is the mega ultimate play that we never give up on. BYU at home, at night, against a non-conference opponent. 8:15 local time, 10:15 on the East Coast, 18.5 points against Stanford. This is the same Stanford team. Let's go down and see what they've done so far this year. We know that BYU has been pretty good. Same Stanford team that lost 23-20 to Hawaii. Lost to San Jose State last season. Same Stanford team that lost to NC State 59-28 in last year's campaign out of the ACC. Stanford playing a BYU squad where the Cougars beat Portland State 69-0, and I'm not that confident, honestly, that Stanford is better than Portland State. This spells blowout. It's another game for Bear Bachmeier to be able to settle in, and I don't see a backdoor cover here either. I think BYU is going to get up in this game by, Gulbranson, the Stanford quarterback, 15 for 30 against Hawaii. They can't really throw. They can't really run. BYU can do both. Cougars win this one going away. It's a blowout. Then Arizona State at Mississippi State. Big 12 on the road against the SEC. That's going to happen a couple of times this weekend, and this is the one that I'm more than confident. Not only do we win, but we win this by 7 points. That's all I'm asking for is 7 points. I've seen Blake Shapen play. He's not an NFL quarterback. He's not an elite college quarterback. He wasn't elite against Southern Miss last week. He's sunburnt in his team photo. I have seen Sam Leavitt be elite. I did not like what Arizona State gave me last weekend. I really didn't. They were lower in my power rankings because of that. Their game against NAU was sloppy. They make up for it here against the Mississippi State school. Also sloppy against Southern Miss. And Southern Miss was one of the worst teams in the FBS last season. Arizona State carries a lot of momentum into the year. They finish off Mississippi State by a final score of 35-28, maybe like a standard football score. You may see this 35-27. This is a 38-27 Arizona State wins. Give me Iowa State -3 versus Iowa. Kansas +7 at Missouri. Houston -13.5 at Rice. Stanford and BYU. I'm going Cougars -18.5. And then Arizona State at Mississippi State -6.5. Those are the best bets this week. You can find all of those at FanDuel. Today's show is brought to you by Upside. Upside is exactly where I've gone to save a ton of money on gas. Yes, gas. 25 cents per gallon to be exact, thanks to my friends at Upside. You go and use Upside today with, you're paying full price, with promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents off per gallon your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. Sounds too good to be true, but with Upside, it is not. You go today, use my promo code FOOTBALL, 25% off per gallon, up to 25 cents off per gallon with Upside. Offers may vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Use code FOOTBALL for a limited time, 25 cents per gallon offer. Today's show is also brought to you by Mazda. Look, I think my Mazda player of the week this week, and I've already said it, is going to be Rocco Becht. He's been a game changer these first couple of weekends for Iowa State. The Mazda is moving the game forward, brought to you by those who believe. It's not about playing the game, it's about redefining it. So you're going for it no matter what, or even a post-game interview that had a positive outlook. What keeps fans moving forward? Rocco Becht. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected game, the unexpected is only the beginning, and it's just like there's more to every highlight. There's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved with Mazda. That's it. Go win some money. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.